Doom 2016 also had plenty of design choices for characters and levels that were only used to create the final version. There's a lot of changes within the game that we never got to see. They can be seen within concept art and sketches. Now before we start, leave a like on the video. Okay, here we go. The Harvester is a lesser demon that hungers for human souls. It's always looking to feed. Some early sketches did add some small wings on its back. Another one would have its legs merged together with some type of energy below. Another version would have its abdomen opened up to reveal some type of power source. The Harvester is supposed to have a stomach sac that expands on its back as it gathers more souls. Some other versions would give the Harvester a massive bladed left arm or a very muscular and long right arm. They also tried to create different animations for the Harvester. I would have liked if they combined number 3 and number 4 together. The Prowler had one design that was like a cyborg. The right arm looks to be completely robotic. Other versions went back to a more demonic look with a thick bone armor, with various changes to the feet, hands, and face. The Demonic Crucible had many designs for something called the Talisman, which looks like the handle of the weapon. The inside of the handle would have these spikes that might damage the person holding it. At least that's what it looks like. I wonder if this design was meant to draw blood from the user, or if it was a defensive mechanism, and the blade itself was short and curved. They even had one design of a giant scythe, but later changed it to a sword with a curved tip. The scythe is kinda cool, but the sword might fit the story better. But it would be nice to see a demon use the scythe in the future. Why not? Because in Doom Eternal, we got to use our own crucible, and it was pretty much the same as the Demonic Crucible, so having new weapons like a scythe would be a good change. I just don't want to see crucible swords all the time. The Prowler underwent some changes to the massive claw on its arms, along with the eyes and formation of the head being swapped. Another version would later change it to a Cyclops, and then having 3 eyes close together. Some sketches for the Shotgunner enemy mostly had changes to the organic growth on its back, along with adding spikes to its upper back and shoulder area. The robotic body for Samuel Hayden had a different color scheme. You could still see his face with this one. When you look at the body structure, the posture, and how thin the limbs and parts were, this one just did not seem that strong. You can see how different he looks when compared to the final version. Olivia Pierce had some sketches where she was to appear a bit older. She would use a walking stick to move around. There was one drawing of the Mancubus that resembled the design it had back in Doom 2. They had different animations and visual effects for the Summoner Shield, the summoning ability, and for shifting. The Baron of Hell was a demon that went through multiple changes according to the many sketches. It looked like a very thick demon with massive arms and shoulders and a plated head with no visible eyes. Another version would increase the muscle mass to its arms, legs, and shoulders. This thing was beefy. The body type would then get slimmer, and more changes would occur on the face, the horns, the skin, and bones on its back. They would keep this body type the same, as it seemed to be a better fit, instead of having huge muscles. And honestly, I do like all of these early sketches. Any one of them would have worked out, either for a Baron, or just renaming it to another demon. This demon here is called the Gremlin. This version would have its lower section in the form of a tail, along with 2 arms and an exposed brain. It also went by another name of the Abaddon, which then saw changes to its arms, face, tail, and back. Some other sketches of the Gremlin came in different forms, either making it walk on all 4 limbs or just 2 legs. We also have the Parasite, which was the life form that crawls into the body of the Hell Guards. It's the boss that guards the Demonic Crucible. The 2 smaller sketches above are just the other versions for it. The Lost Souls had many versions from the art pieces. Some had bones or horns sticking out, but most of them had fire around them. And I think the 2 cyberpunk designs look kinda funny. They also made multiple sketches for the altar where the wraiths were being held. Most of them were hanging from a standing position, but later they settled for the wraiths laying down. The Revenant also went through some changes, Some early drawings showed that it had more flesh and muscle while still having a lean body. They also tried some designs on its head, and its arms were pretty long. The larger picture on the left shows the cannons might have been organic. Some other ideas would add some armor plating on the legs and arms, along with only having one cannon. Another one would change the design of the two cannons while also adding cannons on its arms. The Cacodemon designs remained pretty much the same. Seems like their main focus was changing the location of the eyeballs. And honestly, I don't see a benefit to having the eyeball inside the mouth. That's a nerf, not a buff. The Hellguard also went through a few revisions before it was finalized. It's the boss you have to beat to obtain the Demonic Crucible. The Hellguard is just a lifeless husk, but it becomes activated by the Hell power from the parasite that takes control of it. In one art piece, you can see this parasite or whoever is controlling it through the headpiece. The place where the parasite would enter the body is around the abdomen section, but another art piece shows that the head would open up. This could indicate that the parasite would enter the body through this section. The weapons they used were also modified. The blunt weapon had minor changes, and the other one was different versions of a stabbing weapon. The bosses were also known as the Twins, and it looks like they each had the same armor design. But one art piece shows that they were living demons with thick armor and huge muscles at some point. This design was completely different than the final version. While it does look cool, I think they chose the lifeless husk to give us more than just another big demon to fight. But there's more. They tried to keep that same design but further add more hard bone and less flesh. The chest area looks like it can open up for the parasite to enter. Another version would have a different head along with 2 small arms and 1 large arm. And there's even a 4-armed version, or maybe one limb has a single claw. Moving on to the Pinky Demon, they did mess around with keeping its design close to the original version by keeping it as a fleshy demon with large legs and horns on its head. They did try to keep it as a flesh-based demon, and over time they would adjust the horns, the legs, the arms, and muscle mass. But in the end, it looks like they wanted a new design for the Pinky and gave it bony armor and made its arms and legs equal in proportion. The Spider Mastermind still remained pretty large in size. The changes were mostly around the thickness of its legs and if the face would be humanoid or not. They even had one version where its size was so huge and the lower section of its body could have been a tail. They also tried to give it extra appendages. These could be used at close range for another attack. The head was also modified to stick out from the brain area. There's a few sketches of the Cyber Demon. It looks like they were messing around with the horns, and at some point, the right arm had a tentacle. At some point, they gave it a tail, made its head hunch over, and made the waistline more slender. Yeah, this wasn't going to work. The classic design worked out just fine. All they had to do was create new textures and add additional attachments. It's cool to see the many ideas they tried with these demons. You can tell that some demons just could not get the right design, so they remained the same as before with minor changes. And that's fine. You don't always have to bring the classic design into a new Doom game. Having change is a great approach to keep things interesting. They even had some cool level designs that I want to show you. These are the ones I really liked. This one's called the Chasm. Then a few concept pieces of Hell and its landscape. I like the colors in this one, along with those structures filled with red energy. Here's another one of Hell, but filled with more advanced buildings, while still using some demonic runes. Perhaps this design was a bit too advanced for Hell. Since Hell usually is a place filled with stone, lava, and fire, I can see why this design was not used. Then we have this one, which seems a bit too cold, empty, and lifeless. Not sure if this one would work, but still a cool and unique design. This one is named the Hell Labyrinth. Interesting, but another one that just did not work out. Up next is the Hell Swamp. I do like the colors, but it just doesn't have that sense of heat, pain, and suffering you expect from Hell. This art piece has the text of Hell Terrain. This one has more caves, a different color scheme. I kind of like this one, and I could see it being used for an early portion of Hell before you drop down to the fiery pits. This one is a really good one. It's called Hell Vista. It's got a good combination of colors, the demonic runes, damaged rocks, dark clouds, lightning, and even red energy. Yeah, this landscape or design is something I would like to see in a Doom game. This one is really good. And the last one we are going to look at is called the Titan Altar. I really like temples and pyramids, so this one got me interested right away. I could see this used in some part of the story, like for a ritual or a sacrifice or a ceremony. So that's it for now. Those are some ideas from Doom 2016 that did not make it into the final version of the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.